Friends, family, and fans of the golf betting world, how the freaking hell are you today? Happy Tuesday. Happy post Masters Tuesday. Happy Tuesday. I just went on a bicycle ride and I tried to do 12 miles outside and I went off the first six. I realized I wasn't as fit as I thought I was. I was just going with the wind and then had to come back another 6 miles into the wind. And I got a lot of surface area coming back into the wind. So that kind of bothered me a little bit. I couldn't quite get back to town as soon as I wanted to. So we are running a little bit late, but that's okay. The Masters was a windy, wet mess, and I was pretty much when I got back home. So that's what's going on here. This episode is episode 57 of Back Nine Bets. Paddy Black Ice. Yeah, don't get too close to Paddy Ice. He will that ice is dangerous. It'll freeze you. It'll freeze you in your tracks, folks. So that's what's cooking. It is episode 57 of Back Nine Bets, presented by rotoballer.com. Use code MANIAC for 10% off. It's the RBC Heritage. It's another elevated event. We've got a stacked field minus Rory McIlroy. Willie Z. Those two are out. Willie Z's out for the season. Rory, mental meltdown at the Masters and just too much pressure and couldn't handle it. So I feel for the guy. He should have, if he just took care of business back 8 years ago when he shot 80 in the final round, things would have been better for the guy. But you know what? Such is golf, and you can't have it all. I mean, Rory's living a very, very nice life, so we're not too worried about it. We are rambling. We never hit it outright last week. We had Cam Young, we had Cam Smith, we had Max Homer, we had Colin Morikawa. Two of them finished 7th and 10th. Cam Young, I think, was a victim of the weather. Easily could have been in contention had it not been wet. I think his golf game just doesn't translate that well to wet weather. He's so powerful. There's just too much variables involved when it gets wet. So that's what's cooking. As I said, show brought to you by rotoballer.com. Go check out rotoballer.com today. Use code MANIAC, get 10% off. Myself, Spence, and Joe putting out fantastic work there on the premium side of things. If you want free stuff too, I've got that out there for you, along with my main man at Flag Hunting, my main man Ian is doing some great work himself. He's got the prize picks. Spencer's got all the DFS stuff. Joe's got all the DFS stuff. We've got the optimizers. We've got our Discord. We've got everything. We've got my showdown stuff that I do during the week, which is also great. I've got my little model there that's been pretty kicking ass lately. I've been doing not too shabby in the showdown world. We had ourselves a little bit of a who did we have? We had Sahith Theegala in round 4 of the Masters, and he was cooking. So things were looking good for us there until Spieth couldn't quite get it to get on the final hole. But that is what it is. Let's get into the RBC Heritage, folks. Use code MANIAC 10% off at rotoballer.com. The key stats we got to deal with this week. We're going to Harbour Town, par 71. We're out in the Carolinas. It's a golf course that has a very tried and tested course history. If you've played well there in the past, you're most likely going to play there well again. It's we got some. I'll get into the stuff here now in the chat. We're just going to get through some key stats first before I get my ADD into full overdrive. And also, what I want to mention: drop a theme that you want to see from the show today. I know this is a really random thing, but I figured if you're watching, drop a theme in the chat, and we'll see if I can run with some sort of impromptu improv shit. You know, I think it'll be fun. Keep my ADD at bay. Drop a theme there if you want to do some Ninja Turtles type stuff or whatever. I don't know. Don't do Ninja Turtles. I don't know. Michelangelo and those. Anyway, let's look at the stats here. Distance, 6% less important than tour average. Accuracy, technically not nearly as important as tour average, but we do know that you have to hit your ball on the right side of the fairway. Even if you miss the fairways here, you have to miss it in the right rough if the flag is on the left. You can't miss it in the right rough if the flag's on the right, for instance. You have to miss it. It's a geometry problem off the tee. Don't have to hit it very far. That's why we see guys like Matt Kuchar, Webb Simpson, players like that have performed here well in the past. Strokes gained approach about tour average normal. Still very important. Around the green stuff, 2% more important than normal. You want to see guys that are pretty handy around the greens. The green regulation rate's about 5 to 7% less than tour average here. So you got to make sure that you are able to scramble, and then putting just 1% less than tour average. The proximity buckets are a distinct difference this week. We've got ourselves a casual 8% more shots coming from 175 to 200. And if you clump up 125 to 200, you get to 63 total percent. But if you even just do 150 to 200, that's 46% total. So about half the shots are coming from 150 to 200. So that's a very important proximity bucket this week. The others are pretty much stock standard or below average. So yeah, 175 to 200 is a very important metric. If you can hit your 8-iron through 5-iron, 6-iron, 5-iron, 4-iron, whatever your yardages are as a professional, you are in good shape on this golf course, because that is where things are going to be. Looking at the model, 100% total, 46 2023, 54% for last season, 54% for 2022. Course history, 15% of our total weighting. Stats at the bottom here that you'll be seeing now, 75% total. Last 24 rounds, no matter how you've played, if you've played well, if you've played bad, I don't care what it's been putting, if it's been driving, it's been irons, doesn't matter. Whatever that is, I want that in there. I want good form in my model. Then for total stats, it makes up 75% of the total weighting. 13% of its baseline approach, 6% last 24 approach to get us to a 43% total approach if you use these weighted proximity buckets here that we have at the bottom. We've got 7% in the wrong bucket. I've got the wrong bucket in here. We need it in the 175 to 200. Look at me going auditing stuff as we're doing a podcast live. That's going to change the model a little bit, and that's going to mess things up. So welcome to my world. This is how we ride. So yeah, 43% total approach. We've got a lot of that over there going for the 175 to 200, as I've said a million times. So I'll probably say it a lot more. If you have a beer nearby, take a sip for 100 to 75. Then 5 to 15 feet, we got a little bit there. Bermuda putting, 5 to 15 feet on Bermuda. Got that going. 15% total for around the greens, 10% baseline, 5% for the last 24 rounds, 5% for birdie or better rates, 10% for bogeys, and 10% for par 5 scoring. And then 3% to round out the driving stats for 10%. We got off the tee last 24 for 3%. And then we've got 7% of driving on courses, gaining off the tee on courses less than 7,200 yards. So that is what's cooking. Whew, a little bit of a ramble. We took our time to get there, but let's see what's going on in the model. I don't even know if y'all can see this properly. Let's get Scotty Scheffler bold. Let's get everybody bold. Why is not everybody bold? The bold and the beautiful. So Scotty Scheffler, sitting as number 1 ranked in the model, he is going to be there because he's got so his stats are going to carry him a decent chunk. I'm not going to punish Scotty Scheffler or anyone for that fact like I did last week at the Masters. If you didn't play at the Masters, I gave you a negative 0.3 rating for course history, because the Masters is a very important course to have course history at. This one is very reflective. Course history can really pronounce success here, but if you haven't played here before, a guy like Scotty Scheffler, I don't think is going to have any problems playing well around you. He's a ball striker, and everything he does well needs to happen around you. Ball striking, irons, driver, accuracy off the tee, and around the green play. Scotty Scheffler's got it all. He is incredible right now. Scotty Scheffler on the ball striking front, just sensational. He's first off the tee, he's first on approach, and he's first in ball. I mean, you can't be anything but first in ball striking if you are first off the tee and on approach. So Scotty is just doing his thing when the ball is in the air. Chipping around the greens, it's tough for him to be that high on around the green play when the iron play is so solid. So he's 18th, which is totally fine. Putting, last 24 rounds, 71st in the field. No bueno, Scotty. No bueno. What are you doing there? He plays medium golf courses, the second best in the field. Very solid off the tee on shorter golf courses. He's one of the best approach players over a long baseline, and his birdie or better rate's fantastic. Let's get this putting average out of here. I don't even know what that's doing. That's for when I had Corn Ferry Tour guys in. So we got Scotty Scheffler talking to us. He is 24% owned. Johnny Rahm is going to be 31% owned. So there's a definite pivot there if you're looking to go to the 2. I know John Rahm's putting is a lot better, and I just don't think that's going to be that big of a deal this week compared to last, although Scotty's putting was very bad last week. So I don't know. We don't have anything to can't bet Scotty Scheffler. Not at this golf course, not at the numbers that he's at. He's minus 190 for a top 20, which is pretty fair. I mean, he does a top 20 73% of the time. But yeah, just can't get to Scotty Scheffler on the market at all. So we'll definitely be playing him a little bit in DFS. Got a few Rainmaker Scotty Schefflers, which we'll be lining up. Also, just quick tangent. If you aren't doing Rainmakers and you are interested, I have a podcast out there every Monday with Joel that we do. I have an article that I do weekly for Rainmakers. And in that article, I have an intro to Rainmakers. So if you don't feel comfortable about what you're doing, go read that article that's embedded in my one article that I put out this week. It'll just introduce you to Rainmakers. You can get a free pack. You don't have to lay a single penny down in order to get some action this week. And then you can win. If you get lucky with that pack and you assemble the right 5 guys this week, pick the right captain, you can win money and then start buying cards using that money that you've invested 0 into. Obviously, it's a lot easier to make money if you spend money, but you don't have to spend a dime if you don't want to. So quick Rainmaker tangent there. Go check all that jazz out. Let's get into the second golf on. His name is Paddy Black Ice Cantley. The title of the podcast. He's $10,300, 25% owned, and he has himself the best course history at this venue. Patrick Cantley, I think, has 4 top 10s in his last 5 starts at this golf course. A second, 2/3, and a 7th, I believe, is what the situation is. It's incredible. And this golf course and its history is very predictive of success. And with golf like that, at a golf course like this, Patrick Cantley is our first outright. 15-1 on FanDuel. Snagged that before Rory withdrew. The course history is just too much to write home about. And then you take a look at Patrick Cantley's ball striking over the last 24 rounds. It's second in the field behind Scotty Scheffler. So that is what is going on. Patrick Cantley has been a ball striking black ice beast. Around the green, so solid, so tidy. Putting, one of the worst in the field. 104th out of how many guys do we have in here? 143. Patrick Cantley is 104th in putting. So we're going to have to deal with that. The dicey putter is going to be a problem. He plays medium golf courses, the 4th best in the field. His weighted approach play is 21st. So that means that 7, like, what is the fraction of the pie for that other thing that we have here? Fraction of the pie. So this is a total of 20.3%, and it's about a quarter of shots, like we said. Like 25% of the shots come from 175 to 200. So he thrives from that range. This week, his baseline is way behind his current approach play. He is so freaking good on approach right now. It's not even funny. He's so good off the tee. He's been fantastic around this golf course, off the tee as well. If you take a look at that driving on shorter golf courses, also 21st in the field. He's the number 1 birdie maker. He's the number 1 par 5 scorer, and he avoids bogeys, the 5th best in the field. Everything you could wish for from a DFS play, from a bet. This guy wins golf tournaments. He just can't putt right now. If you look at his stats at Harbour Town over the last while, his putting is not terrible. Now, I don't know if it can overcome, if his history there on the greens can overcome the garbage that he's been putting out as Patrick Cantley has been doing lately. So we need to figure out what he's getting up to, because it's no good when you're looking at Patrick Cantley's situation. So the putter, as we know, can get rectified overnight. It can easily change. If you go back to greens that he's loved playing on in the past, he's had success on these greens. I'm totally okay going to Patrick Cantley. So sign him up for 15-1 on FanDuel. He's our first outright. John Rahm is 3rd in the model. Interesting stuff. And John Rahm's stuff is lagging a little bit. He is the reigning Masters champion. Congratulations to John Rahm. I had him in my captain spot in Rainmaker, so I'm quite proud of the guy. He did fantastic stuff for me, and he's a very deserving Masters champion. So hats off to Johnny Rahm. He's $11,100, 31% owned, apparently. We'll see how that changes over the week. But this golf course hasn't been the nicest to John Rahm in the past. Now, you don't know what kind of golf he was playing when he did play here the last time. But if you think about John Rahm's game, he's a beast. He's a brute. He's a bully of golf courses. And when it comes to Johnny, you'd imagine, although although he's driving on these shorter golf courses, is still number one in the field. You'd imagine that his secret weapon, which is his absolutely reliable driver, is going to not necessarily be that big of a weapon here. You're gonna have to hit some 3 irons when everyone can hit a 3-wood. Yes, your accuracy is easier with a 3 iron than a 3-wood, I know that, but there's a small like, his edge on the field on a long golf course is much bigger, like Torrey Pines versus a golf course like this. So, I love John. 11-1, you know? I don't know. I don't know. I'd probably go Scotty. I'd probably go Cantley. Just from an ownership perspective, if that 31% is accurate, it's Tuesday afternoon, so we'll see what goes on. But there's a lot to love about John. Everything about his game has been really impressive. He just won the Masters, which can be a bad thing. It can also be he can also just come back and just walk this one through his sleep again. But there's a lot about John's game that it's perplexing. Like I don't know if I'm gonna go to a guy that's just won a major. You know, is he really gonna be involved in trying to win this event this week? Maybe, maybe not, but at 31%, I'm willing to take my chances. Um, we saw like a terrible example, but Cam Smith, after he won the Century Tournament of Champions, missed the cut at Waialae, where he's won before too. So, I'm out on John Rahm there. Let's scoot on down the board. Justin Thomas, $8,900, 4th in the model, 18% owned. I'm all about that price on JT. I'm not about that ownership. I'm not about his recent form. Don't know if I'm a big fan of what Justin Thomas is up to right now. Although he's putting bad, he's not putting nearly as bad as Patrick Cantley. So Patrick Cantley's putting has been atrocious. So we'll see what he can get up to. But JT, he's got great course history. 8th in the field, like that. Oh, I wish upon a star that he wasn't $8,900 because like a 10% JT is someone I don't mind going to. The model suggested we bet JT for a top 20 at plus 130 on DraftKings. There's 9 points of value there. JT finished inside the top 20, 46% of his starts. Now, I'm not entirely sure what his last few starts have been. They haven't necessarily been inside the top 20, I don't think. That's what's going on with Justin Thomas. I don't know if I'm not gonna bet this. I can't bet a Justin Thomas. I can't bet a Justin Thomas top 20. It's just the volatility is too much. The consistency is not there from JT. I'm not entirely sure if we wanna do that. I don't know if I wanna be part of 18% of people that have a Justin Thomas DFS slot this week. There's other guys like a Tony Finau where I prefer. I think he's a lot safer than Justin Thomas with the same amount of upside. JT hasn't really finished inside the top 10 that much this year, so we'll see what he can get up to. I'm out. Moving on down. I'm not gonna get lured in or catfished by the $8,900 price tag at that ownership. Tony Finau, the model's telling us plus 145 for FanDuel, bet that dude. And I agree. I agree with Rob. 47% of the time, Tony Finau finishes inside the top 20. So that would mean you need about plus 120 for that to happen. He's also I think that's a perfect bet for Tony Finau. I'm done betting Tony Finau outright. I'm done trying to use him as a high leverage player in DFS. Although $9,400, 14% owned, isn't terrible for a guy that's gonna most likely finish somewhere inside the top 40 at a 77% clip. So that's what you're gonna get from Tony Finau. The top 10 rate is 50%. So that's the thing. Like, if you're looking at Cantley and Scotty, those boys are well into the 50s, and John Rahm played pretty poorly. This is from 2022 season, so it's a long track record. But over that period of time, Patrick Cantley and Scotty Scheffler are finishing inside the top 10, sorry, more than half the time, which is incredible. Whereas Tony Finau is only doing it 1/3 of the time. And that's what you're gonna get. You're gonna get a very high floor with a ceiling that's about as close to that floor as you can really get. I don't know. I don't trust him to even get inside the top 5. I don't trust him to win this thing. I don't mind him. I've got a ton of rainmakers. He's a cheap guy in rainmakers. I like him for a top 20 bet at plus money, 145 on FanDuel. Sign us up. Let's go. So what about Tony's game is getting him fifth into the model. His approach play over the last 24 rounds has been fantastic, sixth in the field. His off the tee stuff, a bit crappy, whatever, not too big of a deal. He's 15th on the shorter golf courses. He pounds long irons, absolutely pounds them. His approach play, baseline is 4th, so he's very solid from that distance. And you know what we have to do, folks? Where is this? Let's take a quick peek. I'm doing some random stuff here quickly. Just enjoy this real quick. Let's find that magic number that we wanted. Here we go. Okay. Hide. There we go. Okay. So now that we got that out the way, let's take a look. These are proximity numbers. Boy, I've gone rogue. I've gone absolutely rogue, and I know what I'm doing. All right. Here we go. Okay. There we go. So this is going to be the magic box that we want to talk about. It's going to have our proximity numbers from 175 to 200. And as you can see here, where's Tony Finau? 5th in the field from that yardage. Sign us up, right? 9,400 smacks, 5th in the field from a very important yardage range. Let's go. Bogey or better, bogey avoidance, par 5 scoring, all inside the top 10. Can't go wrong with any of that jazz. Sign me up with Tony Finau, top 20, rock and roll. We'll even sprinkle him in some DFS lineups because he's affordable and he seems like he's going to be in the mid-teens. I'm fine with that. He's going to just be a nice anchor play, potentially get you a top 10, probably a top 20. Let's go. Xander Schauffele as well, plus 135 on FanDuel for a top 20. He finished inside the top 20 72% of the time. Xander Schauffele. But the discrepancy between top 10 and top 20 finishes for Xander is massive. He's right up there with the likes of Scotty Scheffler and Patrick Cantley, John Rahm at a top 20 rate, but he's 28% of the time only finishing inside the top 10. So his upside is also severely capped, worse than Tony Finau's, in fact. So Xander, for a top 20 bet, let's go. Plus 135, sign us up for that. 72% of the time he does it. The golf course hasn't played well yet in the past. His off the tee numbers are hot garbage right now. Not a fan of that. The approach play, scintillating. 4th in the field, loving what's going on there. Around the green, solid. Putting, solid. Everything's going nicely. The accuracy of the tee is the biggest problem for Xander. But man, that top 10 rate for Xander is really shocking, isn't it? So that's something you have to compare. The approach proximities from 175 to 200, Xander's 6th in the field. Bang, let's go. And he's 11th, 11th, and 16th on birdie, bogey, and par 5 scoring. A lot to like. A lot to like. No wonder he's finishing inside the top 20 so much. Like top 20, 72% of the time. Top 40, 84. So when he's making the cut, it's like when he's hard, he's making the cut 88% of the time and finishing inside the top 20, 72% of the time. Which is nuts. But top 10, not so hot. So that's what's going on with Xander. Top 20, plus 135 on FanDuel. Let's go. So those are the two bets we've made. Tony and Xander, top 20s. No JT. Can't do JT. The model tells us what we should bet. We decide what we do bet. We're not going to go and bet random things that the model doesn't suggest unless his name's Sam Ryder. But that's what's cooking. Colin Morikawa, $10,000, 25% owned. We're only on model number 7 here. He's 7th in the model, minus 105 on DraftKings for a top 20, which is accomplishing about 46% of the time. Can't quite get there. The ball striking is fantastic. 3rd in the field in approach over the last 24 rounds. He's the best iron player in the field in general. His weighted proximity numbers are also the best in the field. His approach play from 175 to 200 is 7th, so that's not terrible. He's obviously a much better wedge player. I think he's also a very good wood player from like 200 plus. Then you get to the putting stats. From 5 to 15 feet, he's 121st in the field. No good on Colin's side there. And I think what we figured out is Colin is a major. He's a major man. Because guess what Colin did last week? He gained putting again in a major. That's what he does. He's so clutch in majors when it comes to putting. His ball let him down last week. We had him for an outright, finished 10th. If he could have just brought his A game on the iron side and putted like he did, we were looking good. But also that weather conditions didn't quite suit Colin. That weather absolutely ruined our chance. Like it really messed everything up. Brutal stuff. But par 5 scoring, birdie or better rates, inside the top 15, and then bogey avoidance for Colin. The putting, that's the thing. He misses those short par putts. He can 3-jack every now and then. His putting on Bermuda is slightly worse than his actual, putting on all surfaces. So I don't know if I'm going to go to Colin Morikawa at 10,000 smacks at 25% ownership. I don't think I'm going to do that. I don't think I'm going to do that at all, in fact. So that's a fade on us. I do have a Rainmaker, one of him. He's very affordable on the Rainmaker market, but I don't think I'm going to go to Colin. I don't think I can play him at that ownership. We'll go to like a guy like Sanjay Im. He's $8,600, 18% owned. You're going to save yourself 1,400 smacks. He was barely short of a top 20 pop, plus 145 on FanDuel. If you can get yourself a plus 150, the model tells us that's the green light. 55% of the time he's inside the top 20 is Sanjay Im. He's off the tee stats over the last 24 rounds. He's 11th. His approach play has been a little shaky lately, but remember, we've come through the Florida swing. Anything is possible over the last 24 rounds. So, if you had some bad performances, go check out Sanjay's round by round or event by event. Make sure that you aren't, ejecting him from your player pool because of the bad approach play coming out of a Florida swing that lots of water can mess up your stats. Played nicely at the Masters, made the cut on the number, playing through that one of the most all-time great pars. On 18, hit a 200 and something yard drive, like a little dink into that weather, hits it up there to like 60 yards out, hits an absolute dime of a pitch shot, and makes a 4 to make the cut on the number. After JT had just did what the Scott Piercy did at the Players a year ago, and he went from being inside the cut, JT, to missing the cut and allowing a whole bunch of other people in, or 5 other people in. So that was fantastic on Justin Thomas' part. He missed a short putt on 15, which is just not good. So Sanjay made the cut and started climbing that leaderboard. Very impressive stuff from Sanjay. So we like him at 18% owned. Let's go. The course history is not fantastic here. I think that's going to give us a slight discount on because Sanjay is a very popular. He's steady. He's super steady. 71% of the time he's inside the top 40, 20%, top 20 rate, 55%. Lost it like about Sanjay. Look at him on the shorter golf courses, folks. Off the tee, 3rd on short golf courses, strokes gained off the tee. So you love to see that. Bogey avoidance rate is 6th, and I don't know what's going to happen this week. I think it's all wind dependent. We'll see what the weather's doing. The golf course can play difficult. It can get to about minus 11 for the winner. It can also get to minus 20 if the wind doesn't blow. So we'll see what Harbour Town's up to. Whether the Carolina coastal winds are blowing or not will impact how these guys play. But we are not going to play Colin. We are playing Sanjay Im at 18% at $8,600. We like him there. And maybe, no, we've got enough top 20s. We're going to deal with that. So that's all we're doing. Next up, 8th in the model, a certain Cameron Young. The thumbnail of this show. Although it's named Paddy Black Ice, Cameron Young is the human lighthouse that is the RBC heritage. He's $9,600, 21% owned. Finished T3rd year, I believe, last year, or at least inside the top 5. He's got the 4th best. He's got the 13th best course history. So that course history is only one tournament. So if you don't have more than 8 rounds, you're going to get that course history halved. So it's a pretty solid course history. He's only played here once. He's got Webb Simpson's caddy now on his bag. Guess who's played fantastic around this golf course? Maybe because his game translates, but also you could not ask for a better caddy to have on your bag around a golf course like this. Never mind the fact that he's played fantastically here already without that caddy. He's also playing the 4th best golf, the 4th best golf coming into the event over the last 24 rounds. Off the tee, fantastic stuff. Even on the short golf courses, 7,200 yards or less, ninth in the field. Approach play, top 10. Ball striking, top 5. Around the green play, a little sketchy, 58th. It is what it is. But his putting has got better. That putting was very bad, folks. If you take a look at his baseline putting, it's 96th. And over the last 24 rounds, it's up into 38th now. So he's putting much better. He's avoided all that crap from inside of 5 feet. The yipsies are kind of gone. I think he's gone to the pencil claw grip. Things are looking good for him there. The short course stuff off the tee, fantastic. He's a birdie-making machine, 6th in the field there. He doesn't do the best job avoiding bogeys, but also that's got to do with the putting from inside 5 feet. A lot of par putts come from that range. And something that I want to see from Cam Young going forward is par 5 scoring. I don't understand. What he gets up to on the par 5s. He's 36th in the field on par 5 scoring, yet he is number 1 off the tee, and his weighted approach play is 17th. So his general approach play is 35th. So if you've got that distance and accuracy off the tee on a par 5, you've got an iron in your hand for so many par 5 approach shots for your second. What are you doing fumbling away shots on those holes? I really hope Paul Tesori can help Cam with that, because that's, I think, what's really holding him back. If you look at that, like, par 5s are free birdies for the pros. If you go and just check here, Scotty 5th, Patrick 1, John Rahm 3rd, Thomas 2nd, Finau 7th. Like, the top guys in the model are all inside the top 10. You know, like, everyone is so good from par 5 scoring that's inside the main boys. Then you get Cam Young, who's the first guy that shows up, 36th. Max Homa, 15th. Tom Kim short, 31st. Jordan Spieth, 8th. So this is what's going on. Like, that is his biggest issue, in my opinion. And maybe it's got to do with the around the green play at 58th. So I don't know what's going on. I'm just realizing now we've got chats in the comments. So Brian's in the house. I love Morikawa and Connors. Does Cantley pairing with them hurt? Let's get it this week. Does Patrick Cantley pairing with him? No, I think look, there's 2 things that can be said about the no, I don't think he's gonna be 31% owned. That's it's one I didn't have time to use my aggregated odds. I just pulled one website. I was too lazy. The other one has, like, periods and stuff, so I've got too much editing to do. You missed the part of the show where I said I was on my bicycle, Sweet Spot DFS, Eric. Took too long to get home, so I'm running behind schedule. It is what it is. I don't think he's gonna be 31% owned, but I also don't know if I'm gonna play John Rahm this week, as always. So, staying on brand. But going back to the Colin and Connors playing with Cantley. I think Cantley's pace of play at a major, he's often been asked and often been questioned about his inefficiencies at major golf courses, at major events. And he kind of played well until Sunday when he started missing every single putt. But I think his pace of play is the fact also that a lot of people were tilting over Brooks might have blown that out of proportion a little bit. The fact that it was a major, I think he might have been taking it a little bit too long. I think at a golf course that he's very comfortable at, like this one, his pace of play is gonna be completely fine. I don't see him take extra long because of uncertainty. I don't see him taking, extra time because of things like that. I think he's gonna be just fine. I think he's gonna play the normal pace of play that he's always played at. I think last week was just a bit of an anomaly, an outlier. We'll see what. But also, Robbo, 31% for John Rahm. Guy just came off a Masters win, so you never know. I mean, it's a very trusted website I use. We'll see how it goes over the week. But did I see that Candy was asked about Brooks saying the group ahead was a brutally slow, and Candy's response was, "Well, we were all waiting for the group ahead of us." You never know, right? Like, this is potentially another situation where it was the Brooks versus Bryson situation. Like, Brooks is this alpha dick, like, I'm not a massive fan of him. He's this he's so cool, and then we all have to feel sorry for Brooks when he doesn't play well, like, because, like, Why is Brooks being such an arsehole to everybody and being this alpha dog, and then we have to feel sorry for him too? Like, if you're gonna be this alpha male that's, you know, dominates majors and stuff, he's got 4 majors. I'm not too worried about him. Dude, like, people like to bandwagon on Brooks. I'm there for Cantley, dude. I love Cantley. Brooks pissed off to live. I don't give a crap about him, although it was nice to see him play good golf. But yeah, enough of that. Let's keep on scooting down the board. And we finished speaking about Cameron Young, who I think is going to be one of the next greatest golfers in the world. Like, once he figures out that par 5 scoring, things are gonna be great for him. $9,600, 21% owned, sign the hell up. Great course history, a great form, new caddy on the bag, a caddy that's veteran around this golf course. Let's freaking go. Max Homa, 10th in the model, 14% owned, 9,100 smacks. I love Max Homa's little bounce back this week. Look at that T20 rate. 59% of his starts are top 20s. 59% of his starts, folks. He's just not capable of getting it done around Augusta. Unfortunately, I took that bullet and I had the 80-1 ticket on him, and it kind of kept me wanting to hope he was gonna play well. So I had him in DFS. I had him as a top 20 bet. Shot a 78 on Sunday. I think he was just too dejected to even go out there and try and play well because he was disappointed in himself again. I think he bounces back this week. He's got one of the best top 20 rates in the field, $9,100. Going to a golf course that is the course history is whatever for him again. You know, I don't think it's an Augusta situation. I think he'll be just fine this week. Off the tee, it's a bit of an issue, but if you take a look at what Max Homa gets up to on these short golf courses, he's absolutely clinical off the tee. Short golf courses, less than 7,200 yards. He's 5th in the field. Sign us up there. Birdie or better rates, 12th in the field. And his long-term bogey avoidance is 30th, but we know how Max Homa is playing now. So, 7th best strokes gain total entering the week. We're going to get a 14% owned Max Homa at $9,100. Sign me the hell up. All the way. All the way. If, you know what? Maniac override you as well. Boom. We're going to bet Max Homa at plus 160 for a top 20. Let's go. Let's freaking go. I'm gonna make him pink, yeah. Let's get him in. I love it. Dude, this is it. Like, Max Homa, everything about this golf course sets up well. Look at medium golf course scoring for Max, 3rd in the field. He loves a tough track. He's around the green play, has been a little sketchy-ish, a little bit lately, you know, 46th in the field, but he's a great putter. His short game is very tidy, and I love what he can get up to off these shorter tees. So let's go there. Tom Kim is $8,500, 16% owned. We've got dogs barking in the background. It is what it is. So, 2 seconds. Sorry, folks. Phoebe is being testy. She doesn't necessarily like Tom Kim. Now, when you think about Tom Kim, accuracy off the tee, number 1 trait of Tom Kim. We go into a golf course that he requires good play off the tee. So that's what I think is gonna be fine. I'm not too concerned about the 7,200 yard off the tee stats. He's actually, for a really good iron player, his bread and butter is a little closer, I think. From 175 to 200, he's only 29th in the field, which isn't necessarily the very best in the world. Also, his 5 to 15 feet putting on Bermuda greens. Oh boy, I don't know. That's 112th over the last 50 rounds. No good there. But the birdie better rates and bogey avoidance is 13th each. So that's not too shabby. He's only 3 par 5s. He's not gonna get as dinged for those as he normally does. He's a really good course fit, but I just don't know. I don't know if I'm gonna play Tom Kim. I don't know if, you know, I'd rather, like, we're gonna play some Sung Jae. Who else is in this range? You know, like, there's not a lot of appealing players in this range anyway. So we'll see what cooks. I'm still, the jury's out on Tom Kim for now. I'm not entirely sure. I don't even know if that's the right phrase, but we're moving on. Jordan Spieth, past champion. Great course history, not really, 45th, even with the win. He's off the tee stuff last year was sensational. I think he gained over half a stroke every round off the tee. If you take a look at what Jordan Spieth does on short golf courses, less than 7,200 yards, to 117th over the last 50 rounds. So that was potentially an outlier. Now, at 21%, $10,400, playing well coming into this week. I don't know. You know, he's fantastic around the greens. His iron play has been sensational, 7th in the field. God damn Phoebe. Anyway, so he's been playing great golf around the greens. Like that approach play, fantastic stuff. Off the tee, if you're going to give me a guy that's going to be 20+% owned and $10,400 who off the tee, I don't know. Oh, there's the dog that she's barking at. So this lady's to blame for the dog's barking. But anyway, moving on. Jordan Spieth, I've said enough. The dogs, we're just so distracted right now. The ADD is in full swing. So Tom Hoagie is somebody I'm very, very excited about playing in DFS and in the betting market, folks. We've got Tom Hoagie over here at plus 320 on FanDuel to finish inside the top 20. Plus 320. So if we've got ourselves 1, 2, 3, 4, we've got 4 top 20 bets. If Tom Hoagie cashes that and the other 3 are out, we're in. Like we make that 20 points of profit. So I love this bet from Tom Hoagie. His T20 rate is not the hottest, but it's happening about 1/3 of the time. And if you tell me plus 320, that's about 3 to 1 odds, right? So that happens once in every 3 rounds. So I like that probability, and I'll tell you why now, why I really like his chances this week. Off the tee is a bit of a concern, but if you look at the shorter golf courses, it's not nearly as bad. He's a lot better on the shorter golf courses, less than 7,200 yards. And then he is the 4th best player from 175 to 200 yards in proximities. He is the 2nd best player on approach across the board. When you prorate those percentages we showed you earlier, he's fantastic. And he's just the 2nd best approach player in the field in general. His approach play has been a little sketchy lately at 16th. You know, he was at one point the very best. Like he was at one point the very best iron player in the world for a brief period of time, and now it's gone a little bit backwards. But I think we've gone to a golf course now where he's absolutely sucked it up in the past. But I think with this kind of iron play, I'm willing to take a chance on Tom Hoagie. I like what he can get up to on medium golf courses at 16th there. So tougher tracks aren't necessarily too big of a deal for him. Bogey avoidance, birdie rates, 22nd apiece. Sign us up. 320 plus 320 for a top 20. Let's go. He's $7,400 and he's 12th in the model. So I don't mind him. I don't mind him at all. And in fact, we'll be playing him in DFS. We'll be top 20. So that's what we're doing with Tom Hoagie. Love that number. Plus 320 on FanDuel. Victor Hovland. Big Dick Vic doing his thing. He was the only golfer in the Rainmaker market that price went up. Too big to fail. So that's what you got going on there if you got a Victor Hovland share. He's $9,800, 17% owned. Plus 115 for a top 20 rate. Off the tee, he's fantastic. Ball striking, he's fantastic. Top 3 in each department there. Love to see that. He plays medium golf courses very well. Obviously, around the green issues are a major concern for Victor. 140th in baseline and 119th in the last 24 rounds. Now, we saw some sensational golf shots from him at the Masters. I don't know if that stuff was sustainable. It kind of seemed like as the week went on, the chipping, dude was boxing 50-foot par putts, which is something that you're not going to do every day. But he's a very good putter sometimes, especially when it's 50 feet away. So I don't know. $9,800, 17% owned. I'm out on Victor this week. There's nothing to bet on him. We've been rambling too much, so we're going to just save some time on Victor and go for that. Also, Sia Najad in the house. He's saying he's in on Hovland. I'm going to be joining him, but you're not even going to be drafting. You're not even on the show this night. So, PGA Draftcast at Windady Sports, 9 Eastern. I'll be one of the special guests, and I'll be there. So I thought Sia was doing some mental gymnastics with me, and yes, he's also in on the Maniac being on the PGA Draftcast later. So yeah, come and join us there in a little bit, in the next hour and a half or so, and have a great time. I'm looking very excited to it. I'm having some beers. We're going to be primed and ready for that. Thanks for joining, Sia. You in on Victor? That's okay. We've got to go in on Cam Young. I think Cam Young and Max Homa are 2 guys that we're going to be going to hot and heavy. Matty Fitzpatrick is going to be someone. We are skipping. You see, this is what happens when we read these comments. Shane Lowry, next up on the board, 14th. Great course history here. The putting as well. Just atrocious. I think he was putting better last year this time. The putting is just derailing any potential Shane Lowry has of playing well. So you're going to tell me he's $8,300 at 17. I'll rather play a Sanjay. I'd rather play, Jesus, I don't even know. Not Sam Burns. This 8K range is looking sketchy, just kind of looking at it. So I don't know about Shane. I'm not a big fan of him. That ownership's kind of going out of control. Someone I do not mind is Russell Henley. Hello, Russell Henley at $7,800. 38th in the history course over here. Playing pretty solid golf. Finished 4th at the Masters, folks. So this is what you're going to get now. Russell Henley's either going to miss the cut or he's going to be playing fantastic again. I don't think it's going to be anywhere in between. The around the green play is fantastic for Russell, as always. 13th baseline, 7th, last 24. 30 or better rates and par 5 scoring inside the top 30. His bogey avoidance has kind of gone up. He used to be a pretty solid bogey avoidance dude. I don't know what's happened there. The distance is an issue for Russell, which is quite crazy to see that he played well at Augusta, with lacking that amount of distance. But the accuracy of the tee at RBC Heritage is going to be fantastic for Russell. So he's really sets up nicely. The weighted approach number is not so nice. He's much better wedge player than he is a long iron player, but he's a really good approach player in general. We'll see. Russell Henley, 16% owned. It's an interesting comment. Matt Fitzpatrick has burnt us many times. I bet 3 units on Matt Fitzpatrick to finish top 20 twice, and he missed the cut both times at a top 20 rate of 60% over the last year and a half. This is the kind of year we've been having on back nine bets. We bet a guy that's got one of the highest top 20 rates in the field for a top 20 rate at Pebble Beach, where he's played fantastic golf in the past, misses the cut. So he's also been injured. You never know what's happening there. But Matty fits, $8,400, 15% own. Course history fits. The off the tee stuff fits. The around the green fits. The bogey avoidance fits. It fits this golf course, folks. And he's $8,400 and 14% own. I think we're going to go there. The proximity numbers for Matthew Fitzpatrick are just dire. They are disgustingly bad. They're like, if you want to equate a body part of Matthew Fitzpatrick to his approach play, it's his teeth. They currently got braces on. They don't look amazing. Hopefully, his approach play is in the same kind of phase. Needs to get fixed because it's not good. However, if it gets to -11, look at this medium golf course scoring for Fitzy, 20th. So he plays medium golf courses, not too shabby. We'll see what he can get up to. He's played around Harbour Town pretty well. Matt Kuchar, from one mat to the next, from the doormat to the entrance mat. It's Matt Kuchar. I love Matt Kuchar. 7th best course history at this venue. Makes a lot of sense. And I've preached on this show. You play yourself, Matt Kuchar, at golf courses Matt Kuchar plays well at. Matt Kuchar is one of the dudes that has one of the stickiest personal course histories I've come across. He plays well at golf courses that he plays well at. That's just a simple fact. If you look at the Valero, he's played well there before. If you look at the Sony, all these places that Matt Kuchar plays well, he's played well at this year, and his form is actually pretty freaking solid. Finished 3rd at the Valero, got one of the best course histories here. Why? Because he's just a baller. Now, the off the tee on the shorter golf course is a bit of a concern, but that's the last 50 rounds. Matt Kuchar's ball striking has been vastly improved. Take a look at his off the tee baseline is 95th. Lately, it's 60th. His iron play over the last year and a half for Matt Kuchar, 70th. Last little while, 55th. So it's all trending in the right direction for Kuchar. You like to see that. It's important. And I think I love him at $7,700. We'll eat a little bit of ownership there. We're pretty aggressive avoiding that usually. So sign me up for Matt Kuchar. I'll definitely be playing him in my roster in the PGA Draftcast this evening. I know a lot of people don't like Matt Kuchar, but I do. Sam Burns is going to be very interesting, folks. He was at one point in contention to win the Masters and then just went off the deep end. The approach play, still a concern. I don't know if it must have gone south over the weekend at Augusta. He's always going to be in the mix for putting. We are playing on Bermuda greens, which he's fantastic at. He makes a ton of birdies, so if conditions are easier, you can expect Burns to be there. Let's go, you know. But $8,700, 11% owned. I don't mind Burns. As a little pivot off some chalky Victor stuff, we'll go to Burns. So sign me up there on Bermuda grass again. That putter can be the ultimate equalizer for him. We'll see what happens. So Corey Connors playing with Catley, and did you say Colin? And I think Colin and Patrick Cantley are pretty good buddies. So I don't think Colin's going to have too big of a problem there. Corey is a Canadian. I don't think he's going to be too sad about anything either. So got all that going on. We kind of need to keep scooting down the board here. So just going to leave Corey Connors as a – don't have to comment about everybody. Tommy Fleetwood, though, on the other hand, is going to be on our betting card this week. Plus 110 on DraftKings for a top 40. If you take a look at Tommy Fleetwood's last 19 starts since 2022, he's finished inside the top 40 68% of the time. We're going to get even money for him to do that again at a golf course that he's got the 9th best course history at. So Tommy Fleetwood, plus 110, top 40, seems like a very fair bet to me. I like what we're seeing there, So the model doesn't necessarily think he's one of the best golfers in the field, but I like his safety. He's making 84% of his cuts and 68% of the time he's top 40. So that's all you need to know about Tommy. Why does the model kind of appreciate him here too? Around the green. He's just so good around the green, folks. He's so good. Even though his bogey avoidance rate is 51st in the field, he's really good around the green. So the putting can let him down a bit, though. That's the problem. 65th in the field in putting and 73rd off the tee. Those are his two bugaboos. And they typically have been that way for most of his career, but it seems like the putting's kind of gone south. I mean, it's typically pretty solid for Tommy, actually. 14th in baseline putting. So if he can kind of get the putting figured out, you're looking not too shabby. So we'll see what Tommy can get up to, but we're not looking for any fireworks from the guy. Top 40 is just what we are looking for. So Darbo just left. I didn't see him. Sorry, buddy. Cheers. Good luck this week, everybody. Enjoy all of your pods this week. Byron, thank you, my friend. We are Podcast Central over here on Back Nine Bets. So Siwoo Kim, next up. So Keegan Bradley as well. I'm just bouncing. I'm just rattling. So to clarify, Tommy Fleetwood, top 40, plus 110. Let's go. Keegan Bradley, $7,900, 6% owned. People don't like to play Keegan. No course history here. That's okay. If you look at what Keegan gets up to, it's not too bad. He's just solid, folks. Nothing inside the top 20, nothing outside the top 50. The only thing that's outside the top 40 is his putting, and that's 46th over the last 24 rounds. So the putting at Augusta is also very difficult. So if you're not a good putter at Augusta, I think you can have a tough time. I think you'll have a better opportunity to putt well here. His Bermuda putting is 67th, 66th, so that's not terrible, but he's just a solid play. And he was very close to being a top 40 bet at plus 115. If we got a plus 120, we were in. But plus 115, no go. We listen to the model. So we do like Keegan Bradley, $7,900 owned. Let's go there. 6% owned, sorry. I like him. He's playing solid golf, and he's a great rainmaker player. He's got a lot of FedEx Cup points. So Keegan Bradley, let's go there. $7,600 with him. Chalky. He's only finished inside the top 10, 6% of his starts. So there's a lot of allure about Siwoo. Safe, 85% of his cuts made. That's nice. Playing good golf, solid off the tee. Medium golf scoring, though, for him. 78th over the last while. Not the best, but he's a very good 175 to 200-yard player. 10th in the field from that point. Oh, and look at Keegan. He's 11th in the field from that distance. So there's that. Got a lot to like for Keegs over there. Siwoo, putting in general, 123rd. But this guy was playing well with the broomstick and then out of nowhere shows up to Augusta with a normal putter again. Makes the cut and then does his thing. So I don't know, 12% Siwoo. I can't say I'm thrilled about that. I think there's other alternatives that we can get to. I think I'd be more willing to go to Matt Kuchar than Siwoo. So put it that way. Then you got a guy like Adam Svensson, folks. Adam Svensson, and let me see if this comp column is under here. There it is. So, yeah, we get to Spawn. Oh, dude, we're gonna get to Spawn. I love JJ Spawn this week, by the way. So we'll get there. But if you take a look at this comp stuff, courses like this, Wildlife Country Club, Seaside Golf Course, blah, blah, blah. All of the short courses that I have in my stat buffet, there's a nice little nugget there about this. Adam Svensson on a short golf course that requires solid iron play and jazz like that, fourth in the field in strokes gained average across those golf courses. So let's take a quick peek here. I'm kind of Wildlife, Colonial, TPC, Sawgrass, Sea Island. Two Sea Island courses. Adam Svensson, look at this. The only people better than him are Taylor Montgomery, who's only played 10 rounds, and Callum Tarrant has played, 12 and 10. They've each played only a few dozen rounds. And then Corey Connors is just a, a dink and dunk kind of guy. 68, 63 rounds, he's sitting there at 1.5 strokes gained per round. And then you get Svensson. So, like, he's ahead of Webb Simpson on these kind of golf courses. And granted, Webb's last few rounds are not the best, but you see what I'm saying? Like, let's go to Adam Svensson. Bros and brogettes, baguettes. Adam Svensson, $7,000, 5% owned. I think he's gonna make some noise this week. And he's a top 40 on FanDuel at plus 220. Hello. Hello. Sign us up for Adam Svensson. Top 40 rate, 42%. Okay. I know this is a elevated event. Sure, whatever. Off the tee, he's terrible. 106. His distance is very bad. 121st in the field. But on the shorter golf courses, he's at 44 off the tee. So you love to see that from Spenny, plus 220 for a top 40, which he's been doing 42% of the time. Let's go there. I love that. I think it's a fair bet, and this golf course suits him so nicely. Tyrrell Hatton, we'll just leave him alone. Gonna kinda keep scooting down. Let's get to some guys we already wanna talk about. JT Poston, someone we wanna talk about. $7,300. Course history is second in the field. Second in the field. This guy just rattling off top 10s around this golf course. And he's approach player of the last little while, 37th in the field. Putting has been a little poor. Oh, he putted nicely at Augusta, and he putts very nicely at this golf course. So I'm totally okay just leaving all his stats alone and betting him based purely off of his course history, and we did just that. 100 to 1, JT Poston to win the RBC Heritage. That's it. That's our third outright. We've got Cameron Young, we've got Paddy Black Ice, and we've got JT the Postman. Those are our three guys. 100 to 1 JT Poston, who's finished inside the top 10 here, 3 out of his last 4 starts. What are we doing? Like, I mean, that number seems very fair to me. He's won at the John Deere Classic, which maybe you can it's not as easy a golf course as the John Deere, but it's a similar kind of golf course, not necessarily the longest in the world. I love what he can get up to, folks. I love his chances here. The off the tee stuff, much better on the shorter golf course. I don't necessarily think his approach play is kind of in the boat there, but I don't know. Like, the stats don't matter for him here. He just plays well. That's just sometimes how it goes. So if you're gonna take a look at anything, course history at Harbour Town Golf Links for JT Poston is off the charts. 100 to 1, let's go. Bang, bang, let's rock and roll. Adam Hadwin, always 80% safety. He's $7,300, like 5% owned. Let's go. DFS, bang, let's do it. Lots to talk about him. Very solid just across the board. That stuff. Cameron Davis, plus 230 for a top 40. And I know Cameron Davis has been playing really bad golf lately. He's got some stuff going on. But Cameron Davis at the Valero somehow almost made the cut after being off the cut line by like 9 strokes. And then I think he bogeyed his final hole to miss the cut by 1 or 2. Like, it was one of the most heroic. I think it was plus 9 at one point, and then just rattle off a million birdies on that second round, and I think he shot 66, and it was incredible. It was an incredible round of golf. It was fantastic, and check at this course history for Cam Davis, 4th in the field. So Cam Davis thrives on these shorter golf courses, 15th on the short golf courses off the tee. That proximity number from 175 to 200, 25th. That's what's going on. 5 to 15 feet on all surfaces, 32nd and 43rd on Bermuda putting. So there's a lot to like about his game, both in course history, yeah. So plus 230 for top 40 on FanDuel for Cam Davis. I like it. You know, his game seems like it's bouncing back. He played nicely at TPC Sawgrass, which is another comp course. Let's go to Cam Davis at that number. You know, I'm thrilled. That course history and his game seems to be bouncing back. We might catch the bookie sleeping with the plus 230 there at FanDuel. So let's talk about why. Yeah. Oh, so you see, I changed some of the stats to go from one proximity bucket to the other, and it's changed a few of these numbers around. So JJ Spawn's sitting 31st, although he's all the way, he was probably 33rd. We'll get to him because these two guys are some people. Adam Scott is 2% owned. That doesn't make a lot of sense to me at $7,400, and he makes 90% of his cuts. So that's just at $7,400. That's all you want. I'm fine with that. That's totally okay on me. The approach player seems to have gone very south very quickly, though, Nathan. So we'll see what he can get up to. But he likes himself this kind of a golf course. You know, his proximity numbers from far away are pretty solid. So that's what's going on with Adam Scott. And then Brendan Todd at $6,900 is somebody I'm thrilled to play in DFS. I love what he can get up to. His safety, 70% of the time he's making the cuts. Let's go there. If we get a plus 200 for a top 40, I'd bet it, but plus 190 couldn't quite get there. Comp course history, 11th in the field. So you love what he can get up to on these other different courses. The actual course history is 34th, not terrible for a guy that's 69th, $6,900. Around the green and putting, very, very good. He was playing Wallet Valero until the weekend showed up, and he ejected all the way from 6th place outside the top 40. Shout out to him for that. You know, that cost me some money, but it is what it is. He's a very good player. He avoids nicely. He's consistent off the tee, not necessarily a world beater, but his short game is where it's at. So we love that. Now, let's talk about our man Brian Young. Love seeing Spawn 39th in the model. Corrected, it's 31st. Feel he is getting back into the good groove of the match play than Valero. Worth a shot at $6,900, in my opinion. I absolutely agree. I did the fortune cookie filter on my stat buffet today. And guess what? There was everybody that usually makes that filter. What you're doing is you're taking average golfers of every style, and I'm just getting confused here. You take off the tee on these shorter golf courses, you take the weighted approach numbers, you take recent approach, you take around the green play, you take bogey avoidance, you take course history, you take what else did I have in there? So those are like some essential stats that I'm looking for this week. He's above average in all of them. And let's go through it here. So his recent performance is 47th. If you take around the green, like his recent approach play is 54th. And we saw what he got up to at the match play. It looked very nice. I agree. Medium golf course scoring, above average, 54th in the field. If you take accuracy off the tee and strokes gained off shorter golf courses from 7,200 yards, 29th. Weighted approach proximity at this kind of golf course, he's a really good long iron player. 47th in the field in weighted approach. So that's nice to see. Putting from 5 to 15 feet on Bermuda grass, he's 16th in the field. That's nice. Love to see that over the last 50 rounds. Bogey avoidance rate, 24th in the field. So those are all very important stats that he's not going to blow you away with. Nothing's inside the top 20, outside the putting. But, like, that's what you're going to get from JJ. And at $6,900, he just needs to keep doing what he's doing. I love what you're going to do, Brian. I love seeing what you suggest there. And setting us up for JJ at $6,900. I know it's 5% owned. That's okay. You know, we're fine with that. Then one of our few last people we want to talk about before we wrap this up, Ben Griffin. He's 36th in the model, and he's plus 220 to finish inside the top 40, which in his 17 starts on the PGA Tour, he's done at a 59% rate. Ben Griffin is one of those dudes that just somehow balls out. His ball striking is hot garbage. Gross stuff. 117th in the field in ball striking. but he's second around the greens. Like, he scrambles his ass off, dude. Putts, fantastic, and his short game is the best in the field. If you combine strokes gained putting and strokes gained around the green over the last 24 rounds, he is number 1 in the field. Now, his approach play has kind of gone south recently, but he's typically, since showing up on tour in 17 events, is 25th in my model in approach. So, we'll see. You know, the weighted approach number is not so hot, but it's all about the short game. He's a really good scrambler, and I'm totally fine with that because this is also why I've incorporated these top 40 percentages into my bets now, because he's 36th in the model, but the model's not taking into account the sensational short game he has. So you wanna just also include a little bit of just performance. Like, there's guys that get it done in different ways. I like Cam Smith. He was the guy that opened my eyes to that before he became a really good iron player. Like, his putting was great all the time, and I only have 7% of putting in my model. So if you're a really good putter, it's not gonna really count in your favor. That's why we use these top 40 rates, and he's 60% of the time, he's a top 40 finish. Sign us up, top 20, a top 40 at plus 220. I mean, we would have bet that at almost plus money, but in this field, it's a little more testy. I still love that value at plus 220. So let's go there. And then let's talk about Seamus Powers, folks. Seamus Powers. I'm going to just keep going back to this dude. At some point, he's going to pop. At some point, he's going to show us what we're betting him for all the time. 4% owned, $7,300. You know, like, that's very affordable for a guy that's finishing inside the top 10 21% of the time. You know, that's really impressive. And then we go to the golf course that he's got the 12th best course history at. I think his game suits this golf course really nicely. He plays medium golf courses really well. His good drives gained, he's pretty solid, and he's just really good at avoiding bogeys and making birdies. Like, he just gets it done. He's as always on the show we've mentioned, his strokes gained stats are very misleading. He's very volatile and things like that, but his scoring is pretty solid. Birdie or better rates, bogey avoidance rates are very, very good. So both inside the top 20. So you love to see that from Seamus. He's $7,300, 4% owned. Let's go to Seamus. Got the 12th best course history in the field, and comp course history is 23rd. So that's very, very nice to see. Very, very nice to see there. Mark Hubbard, $6,500, 0% owned as always. You know, we'll see what happens. So I'm not entirely sure you don't have to bet too much on Mark Hubbard in order to have him in your lineups. I like him as a little salary saver at $6,500. Maverick McNeely is also one of the best putters in the field, behind a certain someone we're going to get to too. But I love what he can get up to, man. He's going to be quite interesting to see what he can get up to, especially with the short game going on. Let's keep scooting down the board here. Who do we want to talk about? Thomas Dietrich can't be 0%. Like, some of these stats are a little ownership's a little jacked. I can't imagine Thomas Dietrich is going to be 0% owned. This guy makes 87% of his cuts in his 15 starts on the PGA Tour. He hasn't played here before. That's fine. Maybe he's injured. I haven't paid, like, if there's 0% ownership and that's reflective of his actual ownership, that makes sense. So maybe he's injured or something's up. But if there's a green light on his health, let's go. And I'm going to double check. But we have a matchup, folks. The model actually kicked out a matchup bet, and it is Thomas Dietrich over Lucas Herbert at minus 128 on FanDuel. And I know we're going a little long, but that's okay. Let's check this out. Let's go Dietrich, get his ass in the model here, and then we're going to put Herbert next to him and show you guys why the model likes him and what's different about their games. So off the tee, Lucas Herbert is 24th in the field, and Dietrich so Dietrich had the shankies at the Valero. So we'll see what happened. He was playing great golf and then just ejected like Brendan Todd. So we'll see what he gets up to there. So his recent stats are going to be very bad. He shot, I think between Brendan Todd and Dietrich, they shot 17 over par combined. I had them in the same lineup in Rainmaker. So that was terrible. But in general, we're talking about a guy that's a very good golfer. Around the green play, very, very solid. Birdie or better rates, very solid. Bogey avoidance rates, very solid. He's a very good putter, and the model sees him as the 44th best golfer in the field. Lucas Herbert, the only thing he does well is putt and hit the ball far. That's it. And hitting the ball far at this golf course is not going to get it done for you. So the only thing he's going to actually do well around this golf course is putt well, whereas Dietrich has got a lot more stuff going on for him. And at minus 128, I am fine with that. So FanDuel, minus 128, sign me up for Thomas Dietrich over Lucas Herbert. Sahith Theegala is another guy I want to chat about. He is going to be a superstar. He's going to be a superstar. I don't think this golf course suits his game that well. And as you can see, my model's got him at 49th in the field because he's just very volatile. Very volatile. But he just finished 9th at Augusta in his rookie appearance, folks. Shot a 66, I think, on Sunday. And that's what you can get from this guy. It just explodes. So you want to line up Sahith Theegala in DFS Showdown. He's perfect for that kind of stuff. You play him in all 4 rounds. One of those rounds is going to be one of the best rounds of the day. So just keep riding the guy, see what he can get up to. I'm not entirely sure I'm a massive fan of him around a course like this. However, at 10% ownership and $8,000, I might go to him because he just gets it done somehow. He's one of those other guys, like he just gets it done. And his driver is all over the place, but when we've seen him hit that 2-iron, think about the Waste Managed Phoenix Open 2 years ago or a year ago, where he pounded that 2-iron right at the green and he hits it a country mile, hits it pretty straight. So I doubt he'll be hitting too many drivers this week. We'll see what he can get up to. We'll see what he can get up to. I like him. But who I do like even more at their price and ownership is Sam freaking Ryder. Sam freaking Ryder, folks. Weighted approach play, 37th in the field baseline-wise. If you take a look at his recent approach play, it's 67, so it's getting better. The approach play is getting better. Now, Sam Ryder is the best putter in the world since the year has begun. If you go pull up Data Golf, if you go pull up the PGA Tour stats for this calendar year since the Century Tournament of Champions, Sam Ryder will be the best putter in strokes gained. And he is the best putter in this field, strokes gained over the last 24 rounds. He's also fantastic on Bermuda. Over the last 50 rounds, he's 8th in putting from 5 to 15 feet. And he makes a lot of birdies. So he's a great DFS player as well. And he's the best putter in the world right now. So that's another thing. That's why he's all the way down. His approach play is kind of okay. The recent approach play is it's like average. But he's the best putter in the world. And we saw he finished 3rd at the Valero because of his putting. And the irons were starting to heat up. Like we saw a few close wedges. He's going to give himself a lot of birdie looks. I love his game. I'm buying high. I mean, holy cow. Imagine his approach play gets back to middle of the pack to top 3rd. And he's the best putter in the world. I'm in. I'm 100% in on Sam Ryder. We've got a Maniac override here for a top 40 at plus 190 on DraftKings. So that's what's cooking there. And then we have to. Are we going to not talk about Taylor Montgomery? Now, these ownership numbers, I remember. I just pulled one website, and he's 3% owned at $7,500. Taylor Montgomery, one of the best putters in the world as well, one of the best short games in the world. And he's pretty solid off the tee on these shorter golf courses. 7,200 yards or shorter. I mean, look at these comp courses. So, but he's only played 10 rounds on them, I think, as we saw earlier. But he played nicely at Sony. So there's a lot to like about his game. And Taylor Montgomery is he's inside the top 40, 69% of his starts. Like, that's amazing. So love him. Ricky Fowler, 76 at 9% owned. Maybe, sure, why not? But someone I'm kind of interested in is Webb Simpson. Because if you take a peek at what he got up to at the Valspar, think he finished inside the top 10 or at least the top 20 for sure. He was looking like trying to win the damn thing on Sunday at one point. So I love Webb Simpson going to a course that suits his game because I feel like he actually showed a bit of spark at the Valspar, and he hasn't played, I don't think, since. So there's a lot to like about his game, and he's sneaky, and he's 6% owned. So I'm fine with that, it's not like he's 15% owned. I'm okay taking a gamble on him to see what he can get up to. I mean, if you take a look at his course history is, very bad, but if you catch the guy early, I'm okay being early on a guy like this. I haven't been on Webb much, when we've gone to these courses that he plays well at, but he actually finally showed us that he can play well at a course that he plays well at. And at the API, I think he had the round of the day. So he's shown some flashes of upside lately and a little bit more consistency at a good golf course that he's played well before. Webb Simpson, ladies and gentlemen. And I believe an hour and 15 minutes into the show, that is gonna be it from me. We've got the PGA Draft Cast here in the next 45 minutes. Come join us over there at Win Daily Sports. And yeah, go check out rotoballer.com. Use code Maniac for 10% off if you want the premium stuff. That stat buffet, folks, is really cool. It's screenshots of the top 20 of all the different categories that I have. So it's just so cool. Off the tee, it orders the top 20 in a row. On approach recently, it's like it just filters each guy out. You can use it for a little research packet. It's basically like having a model that you can just scroll through and just see what's going on. And that fortune cookie filter is so fun to look at. So there's a lot to like. Check us out there. I'll be on the BetSpurt show tomorrow. Go check out all my Rainmaker stuff. If you're not interested in that, that's fine, but it's a really fun thing. Those cards are yours for the next while. You don't have to, it's so freaking fun. So go check out Rainmakers. Check out the pods about that. And yes, thank you for tuning in. I love all of you. Have a great Tuesday. I'm having a great time. The sun is out in Iowa. It's just the grass is green. Just seeing green grass is just nice. So never know. Maybe we hit a winner this week. Patrick Cantley, Cameron Young, JT Poston. And I think I'm going to go and find myself a Sam Ryder bet because you never know. Like a great putter can just do anything on any given day and just go lights out. So I'm going to probably grab one of those. And then, yeah, I'll catch you guys next week's the Zurich. I think we'll be doing a Rainmaker pod for that, but I'm not entirely sure I'm gonna be doing an actual pod. We'll see. Maybe we just do it and have some fun and see about it. So anyway, folks, thanks for tuning in. Linda Q